You can watch the Streamer Spotlight series live on Twitch Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Twitch.tv/TIGHEFIGHTERX1. That's twitch.tv/TIEFighterX1. Welcome to another edition of the Streamer Spotlight series. Tonight is 10 crazy enough. Tonight we're joined by DeviantLostMind. We will learn all about him, how he gets started, what streaming advice he has for other streamers, especially ones that are just starting. If this is your first show, we will start out with some streaming news. We'll move on to Deviant, and then in the end, we'll turn it over to your questions in chat. So with that, let's watch a small video on Deviant, and then we'll bring him on. DeviantLostMind, how are you this evening?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. How are you, my good sir?
I am better than yesterday, my dude. So to start off, just kind of explain what your channel is, what it means to you, and also a little bit who you are and what your streaming schedule is.
So I am a variety streamer. We play a lot of different things. We have a tendency to have a focus on RPGs, JRPGs, MMOs, things of that nature. It makes you kind of a very different kind of animal in the streaming world because of, there's such a saturation of shooter players with things like Apex and Borderlands 3 and all those kind of things. And as far as what it means to me, it's been kind of a discovered passion. I find that prior to being a streamer, I kind of was lost a little bit. I didn't really know where I was going or anything like that. And ever since finding this, it's really just become the thing that I want to do all the time, no matter where I'm at, work, if I'm at, just hanging out with friends, things like that. A stream is kind of always on the mind.
That's amazing. So when do you stream?
I stream Monday through Friday, and weekends are going to be kind of tentative. I normally go live at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's just going to be dependent on whether I'm on call on weekends or not, because sometimes I will be now because I just recently made a job switch that's more in line with me as a streamer and makes me a lot happier.
That's actually very good for that part, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. I moved into network installation and maintenance and all that kind of stuff, and it's been absolutely one of the best moves that I've made in recent memory as far as like work goes.
So hopefully you're getting that free internet.
Shortly, not yet, but soon.
So let's start off with some Twitch and streaming news. So Logitech is buying Streamlabs. Not sure if you've heard about this yet. It came out last week, pretty much right when TwitchCon was there. So with all the news from TwitchCon, I thought we could talk about it this week. The deal is worth 89 million USD, so United States dollars, and makes sense because of them already selling lots of computer stuff, with the Logitech C920 probably still being the most popular camera used by streamers today. Logitech also owns Blue, the makers of microphones like the Yeti and the Snowball. So if Streamlabs can hit their revenue targets, they'll gain an additional 29 million in the form of Logitech stock. Logitech is apparently going to be silent partners and let the founders of Streamlabs continue to run things. What do you think of this news, and why do you think Logitech decided to purchase Streamlabs?
Well, so really, it's a brilliant move on Logitech's part. There was a time when Accessible's webcams that were high enough quality for streamers weren't completely accessible to them. Use a C9. Whoop, that was loud. A C920 stream now, Logitech is super accessible. You can get them anywhere. You can get them at Walmart. You can order them online. They're the #1 recommended cams anywhere. And so with Logitech buying Streamlabs, it just makes sense for them to do that, because they're really starting to work into cornering the market on streaming software. To be honest, Streamlabs is one of the most popular ones. I myself use it, so everything I run now is going to be linked in with Logitech. It's just kind of a brilliant move.
I completely agree, and it looks like this is their way of kind of going after Elgato, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've really seen any sufficient like Logitech capture cards or anything that have come out yet, because I myself also use an Elgato. I have an HD60 Pro built into my computer, but that's not to say that everybody needs that, because they, external ones are completely fine, even the cheaper models, which is what I was using prior to my new PC build that we just did recently.
Awesome. So the real reason Ninja left Twitch has come out. So we try not to talk about Ninja. We talked about him a lot, but his wife just let out in an interview saying that his brain was growing much further than just video games. He wanted to expand his horizons with other things, but being on Twitch, he was not able to do some of those things. So that's why he went to Microsoft, as they were more open to that and encouraged it. So one of those things being that he, along with Jack Septic Eye and Pokimane, and a few other streamers, will be in a new Ryan Reynolds movie called Free Guy. In the movie, Ryan Reynolds will be playing a bank teller who discovers he's a NPC, a non-playable character, in an open world video game which is scheduled to be shut down. It's scheduled to release on July 3rd, a day after my birthday. So what do you think about games becoming so mainstream in the movies? Like, you have this movie, you had Ready Player One, you had Gamer with Gerard Butler. So just a little bit on that.
Well, I think that it just makes sense, because, I think that there was a time when being a video game player and having that sort of mentality was really, really frowned upon. I mean, I myself, I think most of us who played video games while we were younger and in high school, when we talked about them, people kind of shunned us in really weird and strange ways, because it kind of made us it made us like social extroverts in a lot of different ways. And so with the nerd culture becoming the new cool, it only makes sense that the cinematic market would be moving in onto that kind of new culture, because it's what's the new cool soon enough. I mean, we've all started taking over. We now have Twitch. We're online entertainers. We're considered to be, as opposed to nerds, we're now considered to be cool guys, and that's, I think, a weird cultural revolution that's happening. And so it only makes sense that they're starting to move into that video gaming market and kind of give us more of a focus.
That's a really good point. So excuse me, Twitch partner Jericho, and I'm not talking about Chris here, guys, is in the Twitch doghouse. McDonald's agreed with a sponsored stream with Jericho, and within the first few minutes of the stream, Jericho ran to get a collection box of Big Mac coins. So with that, he could redeem a coin for it was 100 coins. He could redeem it for a Big Mac whenever he wanted. However, there was an issue when he was explaining what they are. Someone in chat called them Whopper coins, and he started calling them Whopper coins because somebody, he read chat and somebody else said that as well. So that was the first thing. But later in the stream, it didn't stop. He was playing Super Smash Brothers, and he was using a red outfit for the character Robin, and decided to do the Red Robin. Yum. He's admitted he messed up really bad, but Twitch higher-ups and McDonald's is obviously not very happy about their first sponsored stream. What do you feel about the pros and cons of sponsored streams, and would you ever want to do one?
So I think sponsorships is a really unique thing for Twitch. because there's like a million brands. I mean, we're seeing things like the Phoenix Cartel coming out with their Nova energy drink. And then while I was at TwitchCon, I was exposed to a drink called Synapsis, which was like all organic ingredients from India with zero caffeine and stuff like that. And then there's like Gamer Fuel, and then there's the Mountain Dew Game Fuel, and then there's all these different varieties. I know I'm focusing on the drinks, but that's because it's the one you see, I think, the most. It's targeting gamers because it's trying to make us higher functioning as competitive units. Now, to say that that being said, so if you wind up with a sponsorship from, let's just let's say you're with Gamer Fuel, and then you're sitting there drinking a Synapsis energy drink, there are real repercussions that can come from that. You can lose sponsorships, you can lose, all kinds of, you can lose backing, your community can turn on you. Every bad thing in the book can completely happen when you're under a sponsorship. And you also got to make sure that you 100% read your contracts and making sure that you're actually generating the appropriate revenue, that they're not just making like millions of dollars off of, us as streamers, and you're not seeing any of that functionality or money or really receiving any kind of support back. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm not against sponsorships, but I would just be very, very careful about what I was doing if I were sponsored.
Yeah, and it's hard because
I think Jericho should have been too.
He just read chat and somebody said, "Oh, Whopper coins," and he just went with it. I think you should be a little bit more self-aware than that. But completely agree. So a few weeks ago, we discussed how we had sports on Twitch with hockey, football, NBA, wrestling. Well, now Sky News is coming to Twitch. Sky News is looking into reporting news for age demographics that don't traditionally watch the news. How do you feel about Twitch continuing to broaden the horizon as far as content on the platform and moving away just from gaming?
I actually think it's a good thing. There's actually quite a few streamers I watch that don't just play games, and don't mean to like name drop or anything, but I got this buddy Alexander Davenport, who's an artist streamer who does he paints right there on stream. He makes some really incredible art and some really awesome things. It shouldn't be. I mean, we as people that are on Twitch, we have to be aware that we're not just video game players. We're not just people on here for sorry, red chat. We're not just on here for to play video games. I mean, if we were gonna watch just playing video games, we'd be at our buddy's house just sitting around watching him play video games, or one of our friends or our spouse or our kids or whoever it happens to be. We are also entertainers. We are also people that are on here to give out content, that we're here to entertain people. We come up with these crazy kooky ideas. We're programming things into the streams. I mean, even if it's one of these things that I'm always saying, it's you go to the stream for the game. That's like the hook, and then you stay for the streamer, right? That's the real concept there. It's because you stay for them as an entertainer, as an individual, as a personality, and somebody you can connect with in some kind of way.
Completely agree with that. Jeez, I might need some water as well. That was a good idea. So a piece of Mixer news. I know you don't stream on Mixer, but the co-founder of Beam, James, I think it's Bohm, is leaving Microsoft. Bohm said that he'll shift his focus to new ventures and investments within the games industry. He wants to continue develop the industry and communities. Do you think it's just someone moving on from our company? Or do you think there's something below this all, and maybe he's not happy with the way that Microsoft's running Mixer? Do you think another streaming platform could be popping up soon?
Well, I think that well, let me just start with that last question there, because I think that is really important to talk about, whether or not we're going to see an uprise in other platforms. Before I had actually, well, when I had first started streaming on Twitch, like I had friends who were talking about Mixer, and I'm not typically an Xbox player. I just don't own one. It seems irrelevant to me to have so many consoles. I play PlayStation for the exclusives, and everything else I can play on my computer, really. anything I want to play, I can, I can get Sea of Thieves, I can get a bunch of the exclusives from Microsoft, and those are good ideas, and they're good things that I don't have to go out of my way to buy an Xbox to be playing these games. But at that time, it was everybody who was playing Xbox was Mixer, 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 Mixer. That's what everybody cared about. And now it's they've really made themselves a competitor of Twitch. Twitch has made a few mistakes. We've seen some problems. That's not to say that I'm moving on from the platform or anything like that. I love the platform. It's great for me. It's the place I founded myself on. It's where my community is, and I don't particularly feel compelled to move. But they really solidified themselves as a major competitor for Twitch. And I think with that being said, there's going to be other companies that are going to want to get on that bandwagon. There's always a bandwagon for somebody to be jumping on, and if one competitor can do it, there's going to be a bunch that pop up. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes in the future, because it's going to be like different television networks competing against each other, like Fox, NBC, ABC, all that kind of stuff. Now, as far as like trying to grow content and make platforms better, I don't see that there's a problem with that, and I think that is just a logical move for any kind of company looking to do something like this.
So speaking of Mixer, just one moment. I'm getting reports that we are having a little audio issues. All right, so Microsoft has also removed the ability to stream directly to Mixer via the Xbox Game Bar. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It does cause a lot of problems for anybody using OBS. So now you will have to use OBS or another tool, Slobs, XSplit. I don't think Mixer has their own program yet, in order to stream to the platform. I don't think there's much substance behind it. I don't think a lot of people use Game Bar to stream directly to Mixer. But any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it seems like a misstep was just had on Microsoft's part for that. Is the Game Bar an application that's directly on the Xbox? Is that like kind of like how Twitch has the PlayStation app and it can just go directly into it?
Well, they also have the app on the actual Xbox, but this was actually on Windows 10. You could stream directly to Mixer from Windows.
Oh, I see. I didn't know about that. Like I said, I haven't dug too much into Mixer software. I do have a Mixer account, but it's mostly for, supporting across platform, because I got some friends that moved over, or sometimes stream over there, sometimes stream over here. But yeah, it just sounds like Microsoft didn't have their ducks in a row when they dropped that program.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So that's all of the streaming news that I have. You haven't heard anything this week, right?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about the streaming platform and things that have been going on, I think one of the big things that everybody took away from TwitchCon was that the platform is going to be changing in a lot of different ways. I mean, the day I went to TwitchCon, we already saw this major update to the platform. Excuse me, the mobile app was just updated, and people have been going crazy about numbers, guys, the viewer numbers. Like, I mean, you can look at the big boys on your list and see that even their numbers have dropped, and it's because of the I believe it's the lurk tab thing that we've been talking about lately. Like I always say, numbers aren't everything. They're really not important. You always got to be grateful for your community and the people that show up to stream to hang out and all those kind of things. But for those that are aspiring to grow and make maybe a career out of it, it's one of those things that we do definitely have to pay attention to. But that being said, they're trying to, with giving ad revenue to affiliates, they're going to be making partnership more exclusive.
So in case people don't know what that means, right? We know, but what he's saying is, if you tab people, you used to be able to tab up to 6 people on stream. and as long as the volume was at least on 1%, it would count as a active viewer in Twitch. So with this change, you're no longer able to do that. It has to be the active tab of the browser, and the sound has to still be on for you to count as a viewer. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes, that's what I've gathered. I've even heard they're going as far as making it single view per IP.
Wow, single view per IP. I wonder if then they'll move to blocks by IP as well for repeat offenders of, going in chats and just being a troll.
Right. That would be interesting if they're really going to be implementing systems that, I mean, because there's one thing. Yeah, I know we were just talking about Mixer and we're kind of moved on, but the thing about Mixer is that there are some really, really solid functionalities of that platform that we're lacking over here on this side of the wall, so to speak. And that's if you have yourself marked as a family friendly streamer and you start saying bad words, boom, within 30 seconds it kicks you over into an adult only stream. It does it automatically instead of just coming down and ban hammering you. It just does it, right? And then another thing that it has is that well, almost lost my train of thought there for a second. So oh boy,
I'm sure it'll come back. So
it'll come back. I'm sorry.
no worries at all. So we're going to move on to the guest specific questions I have prepared for you as ready. In the meantime, chat, if you have any questions for DeviantLostMind, make sure to tag FighterX1 Gaming, and we'll compile a list and we'll go over all of those at the end of the stream. About the last 15 minutes or so. All right, so let's focus on you. Why did you get into streaming? How long have you been streaming? And what are your goals with streaming, both short and long term?
Okay, so back in December, it was one of those things. I think a lot of us that become streamers before becoming streamers kind of laugh about the idea of streaming. Like, why would people go online and watch somebody else play video games when I can just play the video games myself? And, I think that a lot of us don't really realize what one of these platforms is until we actually wind up on it. And I had a friend who had a YouTube, and he had been doing YouTube videos and all this stuff. And then he told me he was doing a charity stream on Twitch. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of a really cool idea. And I was like, I'll definitely check it out. So I wound up in his stream. His name is @TheBlueHedgehog2010. He's somebody I know in real life. I work with him. Really, really, really good guy. And I checked out his stream, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then he rated me into other streamers, and I was like, man, this actually looks like a lot of fun. And then like getting to experience the community and start meeting people and things like that. I started thinking to myself, well, this looks like something I would like to do, and so by the time January had rolled around, I had started looking into how to make it happen. And, I had downloaded XSplit prior because of World of Warcraft guild stuff and somebody saying we should go live. That was actually pre-bowl like 2 years ago or something. So I had a Twitch account made from way back then, and went ahead and took it over and then started playing around with XSplit, and then went, no, I don't really like that, and I started doing what I call the Bob Ross stream. It's and I think everybody goes through this phase when they first start streaming. I turned on Mega Man X1 and I was like, let's try a test stream or whatever. And the whole stream I was like, you feel like you're talking to yourself and nobody's watching, and you're just in there kind of. And over here we have this unused asset that was left over that they decided not to use. It was supposed to be a power armor station, and when it wasn't used, they actually didn't implement the station until Mega Man X3. It, and you're like, and then eventually you're like, nope, can't do that. Like, like after you've done that a couple of times, you're like, I gotta find where I'm at. And so you stop focusing so much on necessarily talking about the game, and then you start being like, you know what, let's just get some of my friends in here, and we can get the chat active, and we can talk to them, and pay attention to what they're saying, and then like just kind of roll with what they have going. And that's when I started to kind of find my flair, so to speak, as a streamer. Um, and then by February, we were like working with slobs, and then I had to upgrade my internet to make sure that the quality was there, and then we had to start learning mechanics of like how to use these programs, and then like it's just been there's a lot of things I wish I knew before I went live the first time. A lot of things.
So, and you said December. This was this past December. So you're hitting a year.
I've only really been streaming since February 14th would be my actual, like, that's what I would consider my first real stream, which is that Mega Man X stream I was talking about. And we've just kind of moved on to where we are now.
And then what are your goals, short term and long term?
So, short term, I guess, is just to be building a thriving community. You know, it's not my stream; it's our stream. It's a community stream. There is no stream without the viewers, and there's no stream without the streamer. And I think that's something that a lot of people lose sight of, is that it's a give and take relationship. You know, I put out content, they stay active in the stream, and a lot of times what's going on in the chat is actually what's pushing the stream forward. And then for long-term goals, you know, I think that, like, you know, everybody's going to tell you that well, you know, anybody who takes Twitch streaming very seriously is going to tell you that, you know, the goal is to be a partner and to make this their main job, right? Sorry, kiddo just popped up. But, you know, the thing is that, you know, even if I get to that point where, you know, I start getting partner numbers and maybe starting to apply, most of the time people don't get, you know, accepted right away or even for a long time. But the thing is that, you know, I always see this question floating around. What happens tomorrow if you're a partner? Or what happens tomorrow when you've been denied being a partner? Well, either way, the answer is going to be, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to hit go live, and I'm going to just work on improving my content all the time. It's not something that I think is going away for me, maybe ever.
That's amazing, and strong advice as well. So you recently went to TwitchCon. Let's talk about the experience at TwitchCon. Maybe not the news that came out of TwitchCon, but just the overall experience. Are you going next year? And who do you think should actually go to TwitchCon?
So, TwitchCon. Oh man, there's something really surreal and cathartic about going to TwitchCon. And I say this because it's, you know, you make these friends on Twitch, and you're talking to them in their chats, and they're coming to your stream and talking to you in your chat, and it's weird how when you meet these individuals in real life, it's not like, oh, you know, I'm Ty and I'm a Twitch streamer, blah 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 blah, and they're like, oh yeah, me too, and then it's like, you know, an awkward first time meeting or something. It's like, no, they go, oh my god, Deviant, and you're like, holy crap, it's Convict, and then like you give each other a hug, and then you just pick up and go, and you go buy drinks, you hang out, you talk, and you know, you talk about how the family's doing, what's been going on. It's really kind of a strange feeling, and it's not. And the thing that's really weird about it is that, like, you know, it doesn't feel awkward when it's happening. It feels like you've already been here and done this before, if that makes sense. It's just like old chums picking up that haven't seen each other in a while. And one of the things about that is it makes you want to go back. It really solidifies you in the community and shows you that what you're doing here is real, you know? And I think that a lot of us lose sight of that. It makes it so real. And it helps you make friends. It helps you, there's chances for sponsorships and things like that. Not that, I don't think that that's even the most important part, but you get to see how people have structured their communities, and how they're interconnected, and how everything is going. And it makes you more driven, because you also realize how much, like, and I think now more than ever this is true, and it's because of what we were talking about earlier about the restructuring of Twitch, and how Mixer is becoming a competitor. But now more than ever, it's becoming a business, and so you have to be an entertainer, you have to be professional, you have to, I mean, that doesn't mean I can't say, bad words on my stream, or something like that. That's my content, that's part of, what the stream is. But you have to think like a businessman. You have to think about what's gonna help build your community, who in your community is gonna help you as a streamer. Because here's the thing that I'm learning, and it's a really big thing, and I think it's good advice for all of us to really pay attention to, that are streamers, that wanna go places, that wanna be professional streamers, is that we're not going to be able to do it alone. It's going to take our communities. It's going to take people in our communities. It's going to take help with people going out and meeting new communities and trying to bring them back to our community, and we go to their community. It's got to be a connected unit. You have to, we're always talking about networking and all those kind of things, but it's got to go deeper than that, I think, nowadays. And as far as who should go to TwitchCon, oh my God, everybody should go to TwitchCon. But you see a lot of, like, I actually saw a lot of people that have, well, here, let me pull my badge. I have it right here somewhere. I just had it. So I'll show you guys what it looks like. This is what the TwitchCon badge looked like. I'm trying to get it clear here. So they actually messed up mine. It says rivals and affiliate. I wasn't a professional rivals player or anything, as you guys probably gathered. I don't play those kind of games. They messed up on my badge, which actually gave me special access to areas that only competitors were supposed to have access to.
Nice. Sure you didn't complain,
Yeah,
right?
No, I didn't complain about it. I was like, oh, cool. In fact, like a bunch of the guys I was staying with were like, oh my God, I'm actually a competitor, and they didn't even give me one. And so, yeah. So like, as you saw there, it showed that I'm an affiliate streamer, but like, the partner ones are in purple and it says partner. And then the community guys had like a dark blue one that it said community. So like, a lot of these streamers actually brought their communities with them to TwitchCon, and they all stayed together, and they all got to know their, like, the streamer that they watch better. So it doesn't matter if you're an affiliate, if you're a partner, if you're a community member. Like, if you go as a community member, you're there to support your favorite streamers. If you go as an affiliate, you're there to network, make friends, solidify yourself, and QuitchCon, and make things more real and solidified. And if you're a partner, you're there for meetings, you're there for talking about sponsorships, new games, you're there to host events. Like, we watched our good friend Duty Beard, who's the leader of the Silly Boys, one of the communities I'm a part of, host a couple of Twitch Sings events and play Jackbox Party Pack 6 when they announced it. So, everybody has a role to play at TwitchCon, and so there is no reason that anybody should feel like, oh, I can't go, my numbers aren't high enough, or oh, I can't go because I'm just a community member, or anything like that, because it just it shows you how real Twitch is.
No, that's amazing. And so, speaking of TwitchCon, do you think Mixer will be doing their own conference? I mean, I don't think they could call it MixerCon. I think they have to call it like Mixer. But how far away do you think they are?
I think that Microsoft, like, just watching what's happening there, right? I don't know that they know what they have there. just yet. I feel like eventually we will have a MixCon, MixerCon, Mixer, whatever they're gonna call it, Microsoft Con, or something. But I feel like it's probably a couple of years out, because I really don't know that that they know what they have there just yet. Like, I mean, so I know we were talking about Twitch's mistakes and stuff. My thought came back to me, actually, that I was thinking about earlier,
Nice.
about how they have some really good things going for their platforms. Like, they're going to have the leveling up system and all that kind of stuff on their system that levels up on chat, which is actually a really intuitive way to keep chat active. Twitch also came out saying that they were going to have an update that did that same kind of thing. So we can look forward to actually having access to that particular perk here in the future. But one of the things I was going to say, that they have a major, and well, I mean, it's an up draw, but it's also a down draw. So they have a program on their platform that they try and put you at like the top of the list if you're like in like final countdowns on like Apex, if you're in the top 10, things like that. So all of a sudden their view count will go from like 5, 6 to like 2,000 in like a minute flat, because they wind up getting featured on the front page, right? But for somebody who's not playing one of those kind of games, or is not like good enough to hit those kind of levels,
You're talking about
it's
the hype zone?
yeah, the hype zone. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about, which is a feature that Twitch doesn't have at all. But like, where they have lost opportunities there is that it somewhat ostracizes part of the community. And the reason I say that is because of gamers like me, and because of anybody who's playing any kind of RPG type game or anything like that is not getting access to any of those kind of features. So it's not
Sure.
really helping them out in any way, shape, or form. So it kind of ostracizes part of the community. I myself tried a couple of streams on Mixer. Don't get me wrong. I was like, I'm going to try it out. We'll see what happens. And it's just like, it didn't, for me, it didn't feel like people were interested in what I had to offer over there. And that's not to say I mean, I'm sure there's somebody over there, I'm sure there's people over there that want to watch those kind of streams, but there's not ways to put yourself on the map if you're not already on it.
That makes a lot of sense. So distractions are real. We saw your little deviant running through the house earlier, right?
Yeah.
You handle it like a champ most of the time, and I know Bonbon helps you a lot with that. So since you're playing in a common area currently, and they're seen in the background playing Spyro, they're having a great time. What challenges do you face streaming in a common area like that, and how do you overcome the noise and the distractions?
Well, I know that like when we were starting this, I don't have my filters on because we're talking on Skype. So any background noise that happens back there, you guys are 100% gonna hear it. It's gonna happen. But I've actually compensated a lot by using noise gates, by using noise suppressors, all those kind of things that I programmed on my Streamlabs OBS to keep the sound kind of to a minimum. But noise is always the number one struggle. Kids, they get rambunctious, they scream when they're not happy, and then I'm over here muting my microphone and making the funny faces. I'm sure you guys have seen me do it. Yep. Noise is the sound engineer's nightmare. Yeah. So, and that's part of the whole thing. I'm gonna go ahead and respond to chat here real quick, but that's part of the whole thing, is that when you become a streamer, if you do not have like somebody you're partnered with that's like a team member or something like that, you're literally running your own programs, you're doing your own programming, you're running your own mixers, you're making sure that everything's going off without a hitch, all on your own time. And it's all in real time, and things can break very easily on a stream. It's happened to every single streamer I know. It's never not happened.
Yeah. Every stream before you start, you have to sit down 30 minutes early and make sure nothing's broke.
Yeah.
There's like little OBS monsters hidden in the code or something. So your channel on Twitch is super interactive with sound effects and GIFs. So let's start there. Are they GIFs or GIFs?
They're definitely GIFs. If you because if you give somebody, what do you give them? You don't give them a gift, you give them a gift.
Yeah, the
and
founder says
and
it's GIF. I always called them GIFs too, and then he came out and said they're GIFs, and I'm like, that's not peanut butter. But so
no,
there's a lot
right,
of
right.
work that goes into your stream. What do you do to help balance, like having to create all those new sound effects, the new animations on your stream?
Well, I've actually kind of just gotten it down to a science. Like the first couple, it took me, I don't know, probably 30 minutes to set each one up, just finding everything, making everything, So here's the thing: is that like I actually have like my community do half the work. They have to send me what they want. You know, it's. um. So I have them do half the work. They send me the resources, and then I can convert them and all that kind of stuff in just a couple of minutes now. And then it just takes me a few minutes to set up the command. I did one while we were sitting here doing this, actually, for one of my community members. He's a really good guy. He's one of my moderators. We went ahead and just beefed him up to like we made him an admin of the Discord recently, because his advice is always just, he has a way of reeling me back in when I'm kind of losing my way. And I think that that's something else that everybody needs to pay attention to. You need to pick very, very good people to be your moderators and your admins and things like that are going to work with you, but they gotta jive with you and be able to reel you back in. But as far as like I actually implemented a new program today that I set up. I just do these things on the in between times when oh man, I'm getting unmodded. I don't think that'll happen, Zazabu. But I find time to put these things together on the in between times, because I work full time, and then I come home, and then I have to put up my stream, and then on the 30 minutes before, I'm frantically trying to set stuff up. I just have to make time to do these things, and if I can't get to it throughout the week, I'll make time on like my Saturday or Sunday to go ahead and put these things together. But it's one of the things that we have to do as content creators. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes as well.
Very true. Very true. So we talked about this a little bit offline, and we both thought it would be a good topic to talk about when you were on the show. So just so you know where we're going here, do you feel like you've made any mistakes early on in your streaming career that maybe you would have done differently if you had the ability to go back in time?
Well, okay, so what excuse me, I've had this awful cold. It's been around since before TwitchCon. I think that it's kind of a hot button topic, because some people get really, really mad about it, and some people really, really defend it. And it's the whole idea of what's okay to do and what's not okay to do with views. I think everybody 100% across the board agrees that view botting is bad, right? Running a viewer is kind of a gray area, guys. Now, I joined up with the team pretty early on being a streamer, and it really, really beefed up my viewer numbers. And it's one of those things where you're not sure if you're doing the right thing at the time. You're like, well, we're just trying to grow, we're trying to make things better, we're trying to stimulate activity, which was always the goal. It was never to like
Sure.
get partner numbers and then try and cheat my way into being a partner or anything. It was to stimulate growth. And well, in a lot of ways it did do that. But after a while, you start to feel, oh, it feels hollow, it doesn't feel real. And do these people really even care about my stream? Do they care about my community? Are they really part of that community? And there have been a few people, very few, like I want to say that there's like 5 or 6 people that really came out of that are still here as supporters in my stream, that still come around every stream, that hang out all the time, and kick it like regularly. But the growth becomes inorganic. It stops being it stops being real. And so I took myself out of that because I was like, guys, I feel like the way things are going with Twitch and with my stream and all that kind of stuff, that it's just going to be a better idea to move away from that, move on from that. And in a lot of ways, I do consider it to be a mistake, but at the same time, for a time, it was maybe the right move for me. But my advice would be allow your stream to grow organically. Work on yourself as a content creator. Get out there, network, make friends. That grows your stream way, 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 way more and better than putting yourself into a situation where you're like on a viewer or something. So I don't know. You guys, you take away from that what you take away from it. But for me, I still have friends that are on it that use it and all those kind of things, and I don't judge them for it. But for me, it's just not the right move, and I feel like for a lot of streamers, it shouldn't be being utilized. And with the changes coming to Twitch, it's only going to get harder to be able to utilize a viewer, to be on one. Eventually they're going to start cracking down, and I feel like it's better to not be caught in that line of fire.
Well, they already started, so it was, you could only have
that's what I'm saying.
6 tabs open, and then now it's this one. So Twitch is smart about, like, they know how people are getting to partner, and they're taking steps to make sure that people that don't deserve to make partner aren't making partner. And I don't blame them for that. They want to make sure that their platform, the partners are really the best of the best, right?
Right. And that's the other thing, Zazaboo, is if you're running something like loots, or if you're generating ad revenue, that was something I was actually going to talk about, is that it can become really fraudulent if it's counting all those views and they're giving you money based off of them.
And now with affiliates getting ads as well and getting profit off of that, that's going to be bad.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna just have to, like, viewers are gonna become a dying thing. It doesn't matter how advanced it is. Because like Lurker.tv and Twitch viewer, and there's like 4 or 5 others that are really big, that are they're gonna become irrelevant, and they're gonna be I'm gonna run ads 24/7. I'm the ad streamer. It's gonna be they're gonna be cracking down on it eventually. I foresee bans for getting viewers by.
So you've talked about the importance of networking numerous times tonight. So let's talk about network a little bit more in depth. How do you personally network? Let's give some shout outs to some communities you might be a part of.
Oh boy. Well, so I'm actually a part of a great many communities, maybe too many, to be honest. I'm actually a part of your community too. I am. Well, I've developed my own community, mostly via stream. I'm like, oh yeah, join the Discord, guys. There's a lot of great people in there, and that's all well and good. But here's one of the struggles with networking on Discord. I just want to talk about one of the struggles real quick. I find that a lot of communities, while they appear to be open, often are closed off. And I know that everybody knows what I'm talking about here. When you go into a Discord and you're like, hey guys, how's it going? And then the conversation continues on like you never said anything, or they don't respond, and then you come back and it's like 50 messages later because somebody else was talking. It can be very tough to try and really embed yourself in a community and become accepted as a socialite of that community. Discord, but sometimes clips. It can be incredibly easy. Like one of the communities I joined is the Wolf Den. If you guys don't know who the Wolf Den is, they're actually kind of like a sub community of Duty Beard and Owl Scouts that was created by a streamer named Lone Wolf Dogma, who's also a fellow Colorado guy. His community there, the Wolf Den is it's an everybody community. Nobody's like the head streamer or, you know, main honcho or anything like that. But it was really easy to get in there and really make a lot of connections. That's how I met Sephora. That's how I met Fez's Nerdy Life. That's how I met Lone Wolf Dogma and you know, a bunch of really great individuals there. And, you know, because they were super active, they really liked talking. And it was really easy to get in there and talk. But I find that one of the most effective ways is actually to get out and support your fellow streamers, you know. Like when TIE Fighter goes live, get in there and support him, and somebody in the community is gonna like you and be like, oh yeah, we like this guy, you know, or we like this girl, they're funny, or they're, you know. And that's one of the ways to actually break into like a stream, is really to use comedy to your advantage. People like it when they're having to laugh and chat and something stupid somebody's, you know, said about whatever, and the best memes, yes. And so it's always the best way to really like kind of break the ice in a community, is just to kind of go in, say hi, and then when the streamer says something or something like that, you say something gooberish about it, or, you know, whatever, you know. And it can be a really great way to connect with other individuals and communities and make friends, and then you move into their discords and start making friends in there.
All right, so we're going to move into chat questions right after this question. So anything you can tell people starting to stream, what advice would you give them? What advice would you have given yourself, you know, back in December, January, when you were thinking about starting to stream, February, when you started streaming? What advice would you have for people in those shoes?
Well, as we were talking about earlier, it took a long time to build my stream up into what it is. And I think that the thing that people should be doing, and it's something that I offer, you know, my viewers and people that join my Discord and stuff like that, is help setting up their streams. There is a lot that goes into setting up a stream, from not just like the programs we're running and all those kind of things. We have to make sure that our bit rates are okay, that our internet upload stability is good, that we're running under the right settings, software versus NVENC, which if you don't know what those are, software is when you're running off of your CPU, and NVENC is when you're running off of your GPU, your graphics card. So a lot of processors, and the default is software. So you can totally melt down your CPU if you don't know what you're doing. It is completely possible and can totally happen. So you have to be aware of. Well, I almost did it a couple of times. I played with all those settings until I learned how to do it, and then I was on YouTube, you know, furiously typing, trying to figure out how to set up everything properly and making sure that everything was running. And that was like, you know, that's like the bare minimum of what you need to run a stable stream. And it probably took me the longest to set up of all the things that I run. So what I was getting at, though, is find somebody who knows how to set up a stream properly and ask questions, as long as they're willing to help. You know, not every streamer is going to be out there to help other streamers, but, you know, find somebody who is, and really take what they've learned and utilize it for your own. Like, you know, it's just like any one of my programs that I run on my stream, I'll tell almost anybody what they are. It's just that, you know, I don't like to do it out in the open. I feel like it's more suited to direct messages, private messages and stuff. So I don't really shout it out in the open or anything like that. But anybody who asks, I basically give them what I'm using, because, you know, we have to help each other as streamers as well. It can't just be, you know, it's and this is something that I've said around my stream a lot too, and you guys will hear it a million more times. I know Colvin's heard this, I know Bonbon's heard this, and actually Justin Raged and Zazabu might have heard me say it by now, I don't know. But one of the big things is that, you know, every viewer is a potential streamer, and every streamer is a potential viewer. You have to be open to all the different communities and the different ways about doing things on Twitch. It's, I even watch some Apex streamers even if I'm not entertained by the game, because the streamer is really awesome.
Right.
You make friends this way, and it's helpful. Like, your success is my success when you've learned from me how to be a streamer, because when I go out of my way to help support you as a streamer, when I go out of my way to help you, you'll remember that, and then eventually there will be a time where you can either help me back, or I'll have a question about one of the programs you're using, and then boom, you know what I mean, you're more willing to let go of the information because I helped you out at some point, or you helped me out at some point, and that's not me. Like I said, I'm totally open about these things. I always help out whoever asks. It doesn't matter to me. But a lot of streamers aren't as willing to help as you may think they are.
Sure.
Twitch has an amazing community, but not everybody is like a nice person. You know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of a gray
So
area, right? Because you have people trying to grow, and if people give you everything they have, then what makes them better than you, right? And that's the wrong attitude to have, because if I give you everything I have, well, then let me go learn some more stuff.
right.
Zazaboo calls me Google, and that's why we started the Fighter X1 Discord. We wanted to help every potential streamer, like you said, all these viewers that were coming in. Justin Rage is one of them. He streams from his Xbox directly, but he just bought an Elgato HD60S. He's got OBS installed. We've been helping him get his computer set up so he can start streaming through OBS and have all the overlays and such as well. So yeah, I'm so glad that you are willing to share your knowledge as well. That's very adult of you. It's like, I don't understand when the world changed, right? It was, everybody was supposed to build each other up. And these days, a lot of people just want to tear each other down. And I'm glad that we have that same thing in common, where we're trying to build each other up. And that's very awesome of you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, it's kind of just who I am. I'm like this in real life, guys. Like, I'm always going out of my way to help people, even if there's nothing to get back from it, really. Like, I mean, I can name countless times I've gotten up at 3 o'clock in the morning because somebody's car broke down 40 miles away, and I had to drive out there to pick them up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And, it's just kind of who I am. And I think that's, I think we need to be supportive of each other. It's a tough world out there. It can be a very ugly place. And yeah, it is a true story. And the world's a very ugly place. And, the only way that we're going to make it better is by being awesome to each other, frankly. And then there was another part of this that I was about to head into a direction. Nope, it's gone.
I love your concentrating face.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start into chat questions then. So everybody on Twitch that has posted their questions on chat, we'll get to those. If you still have any questions, make sure you tag TIE Fighter X1 or Zazaboo, and he will help me keep track of those and get them in there. So the first question goes to BonBonBaby_Taka on Twitch. Do you think if the partner streamers suffer from the numbers, will Twitch perhaps change the requirements or even make partners reapply? So we saw something like this with YouTube not too long ago, where they changed their whole partner stream, and then they yanked it from certain people, and then they had to go back on the word and give it back. Do you think Twitch will follow the same footsteps?
Well, I was actually just talking about this with somebody the other day, right? It was actually while I was at TwitchCon. I was talking with Safura about it, and she was saying that she thinks that, like, let's say you've become a Twitch partner, and not necessarily that your numbers drop below a certain average or whatever, but like, you've become a Twitch partner and you haven't streamed in a year. Do you still deserve partner status, just able to come back as a partner with no repercussions from not being a streamer for a whole year? I mean, that is a very good question. I kind of think that partner status should be revoked at that kind of inactivity, because the thing is that there are people that are trying to grow, there are people that are trying to acquire the status, that want to make this a real job. And then somebody else argued, oh, it's not a real job, it's a it's just a hobby that you might get paid for. And I was like, no, 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 no. I was like, if you get a tax form, which we do,
Right.
then it's a job, dude. It might be your passion, it might be your hobby, but it is still a job. If you get paid, you are a professional.
That's
And that's
correct.
all there is to that. So if you spend a year not generating any revenue or having any kind of activity or anything like that, any job you go to, if I just didn't show up to work for a year, would I still have a job there? No. No, I wouldn't.
I was like, is this rhetorical? Are you really asking me?
No. It's totally rhetorical. You know what I mean? It's so if I don't show up to my job for a year, then definitely I don't have a job anymore. So if I don't show up to stream for a year, should I be a partner anymore? I don't really think so.
I completely agree with that.
I think that these are things that Twitch is going to have to think about, and they're going to handle it how they handle it. But I think that it would be kind of foolish not to think about it like this.
Sure. All right. So moving on to Full Bump in Twitch chat. Speaking of meeting people in other streams, I met Full Bump today, and I'm so glad that you came out to support today. Thank you so much, Full Bump. Saw some data from Stream Elements that shows Mixer traffic spiked in August when Ninja moved over and then dropped off in September. What are your thoughts on the drop off in September?
All right. So just based on that kind of data, what you can assume happened was that there was a hype because Ninja went over. They were saying, hey, this is going to be the new big platform. It's going to drive Twitch underground. It's where we can all grow to, hit partner status over there with almost little to no effort. I saw a lot of people doing it, guys. A lot of people. Twitter blew up for like a week where everybody was fighting about which platform was better and all this kind of stuff, which I no longer see a whole lot of things even being talked about Mixer. And I don't know if that's just because of the people I know, but like I don't see, Mixer posts. I don't see people saying, oh, I'm moving to Mixer, or, and there's nothing wrong with moving to Mixer. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, you go where you feel like you're comfortable on your platform. But what happened was, and I'm going to go way out on a limb here and say that it's probably almost definitely what happened was there was a big hype about it right as it happened, and then people kind of started to, like I said, realize that it's not some magic fix all or anything like that, and that there are definitely its own problems over there, like the ostracizing certain parts of the community just because of the types of games that they play. I think that there are a lot of people that have similar thoughts to me on that.
Yeah, and I think also you have to take into consideration that Ninja was mostly streaming Fortnite, and Fortnite took a hit too. And I don't think it's coincidence because of Ninja. I think the new season of Fortnite went down, and people are just getting tired of battle royals overall. You pair that with school starting back up in September, and you're gonna see some viewership dropping.
Right, it's just like Neil Zabella said. And like I said, I have no problem with Mixer, but when we were in discussions about whether or not it was viable to stream on Mixer or not in my community, Niels is the one I was saying that we made an admin. He said, well, Mixer can have Ninja and his army of 12-year-olds. And I think that there is a lot of truth to that,
if I could ever get my profanity under control, I would love the viewership of 12-year-olds as well. That doesn't sound very good. Let's move on. Justin Raged V2 wants to know, how did you come up with your logo?
My logo. Okay, so this is actually an interesting story. So way back like, okay, so let's start with my name, right? Everybody's like, why DeviantLostMind? Why is that your tag? And what does that really mean, right? Well, like, you know, when you're in high school and all that kind of stuff, we're talking, this is like 15 years ago now, guys, that I came up with this name. That's how long it's been my tag.
Wow.
I was playing music in a bunch of groups, and I had come up with this like band name concept, and I really liked it. And I saw these like greens and purples when I thought about it, and I had come up kind of with this dog that you see over on the corner here in the spinning head. And oh, it looks like you fixed my GIF. Did you fix my GIF?
If you mean, did I take the background out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you off stream how I took care of that for you.
Well, I think Bond figured it out. She's just been
No, you can send it to him if you want.
weird about remaking
just,
it, but if you could send that to me, that'd be great.
I just applied a custom green screen to it.
Oh, okay, I got you. So what ended up happening is that I took this concept and was like, well, like this mascot that we call Patches is kind of what we're going for with the
is that his name, Patches?
But, yeah, his name is Patches. So he's supposed to be kind of creepy and fun and weird, but you know, like somebody was like, I was sitting across the table from somebody when I followed them on Twitch, and he's like, some guy with some really dark name just followed me, and I was like, really? You know, and it was such a funny thing. He's like, he didn't even realize that it was me sitting across the table from him, and I had literally just told him that I followed him, and he was like, it was going a direction that I know he was about to start saying something ugly, but we stopped him there. But so yeah, that's kind of where like the whole concept came from, and it's not meant to be like dark or sinister or anything like that. It's supposed to be kind of kooky and fun, and I think that once people see how the stream actually goes, they kind of get that, you know.
Indeed. So when do you think is the best time to go full-time streamer? That's Justin Raged V2 in Twitch chat as well.
That is such a, I don't know that there is ever a good time to become a full-time streamer, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that when you're generating enough revenue that you can actually supplement or begin supplementing your actual income is probably the time to start thinking about it, maybe, you know what I mean? But there's a real instability as far as taking the leap to becoming full-time. Like, I would recommend that your spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, however it goes, is working, because there is never a guarantee that you're going to make enough money to be okay, unless you're Ninja or Shroud or, you know,
sure,
whoever. Those guys are guaranteed. They have no worries on the planet, you know. But even mid-range size streamers have a lot of work to do to continue growing their communities, to continue, you know, getting subscriptions. You have to offer perks, things like that. You know, you have to be coming up with new ideas, concepts constantly, or else, you know, eventually the stuff that you're doing is probably going to become stale, and then you just have to hope to God that your personality is strong enough that you know, people are going to stay for, you know, that more than anything. That's what you want. You know, you want them there for your personality, but the draws is what can grow stale to people, especially if everybody else starts doing what you're doing. You know, then you have to get more creative and come up with some kind of new idea to make things more interesting and fun. And that's really how I've just built my stream, is just trying to come up with some new crazy idea. Like, I wonder if I can do this. Can we make this happen? And then there we go. I find a way to do it. And
so yeah, and I think to add on to what you said is, you need to figure out how much you need annually to survive on. And if you're in a relationship, that's as a couple, right? But so as a single person, how much do you need annually to survive on? And then make that much using Twitch. Otherwise, you can't go full time, or you can go full time, but you need a part-time job to supplement the other side of that income. Also, keep in mind, if you are thinking about making that move, that Twitch doesn't take out taxes. So at the end of the year, you owe a check to the IRS for the amount of money that you earned. So when you're thinking about your annual income, make sure you include your taxes that you're gonna have to pay as well. So one last or two more questions. Zazabu asked, why did you decide to wear the tie, he spells that Tighe, around your neck and not around your head?
Well, because we're in an interview type setting here, not in a I'm streaming type setting here. I know he asks because normally, that, as you can see on my stream there, I wear it on my head. Now, so this is I actually have a story to go with this that I'm gonna just go ahead and roll right into. I have a couple of people with the name Doc, right? Doc O'Brien, the good Doc Holiday. There's a Doc 81 something or another that follow my channel, and I don't know why I've collected so many people named Doc, but they've wound up in my stream and have kind of stayed there and stayed around.
What about Dr. Disrespect?
Not Dr. Disrespect. He hasn't showed up yet, but
no?
He's coming.
Okay, he's coming. He'll be there.
And so, but Doc O'Brien, a while back, we had a bet going that, like, if I hit so many, you got to make goals for yourself, and sometimes you offer crazy things for meeting those goals to your viewers. Like I actually owe them a 24-hour stream right now, which will probably be happening in the next week or so, and I had offered to dye my hair purple when it was longer, which is why it's wound up so short now. But we wound up with with like almost chin length purple hair. And then he was like, you need a purple tie to go with your purple hair. And I was like, I have one, actually. And then I wound up wearing it. And then eventually one day I just kind of pulled it up onto my head. And then it just kind of stayed there.
It stuck. Awesome. Yep. And Symphonic313 in Twitch chat wants to know, what kind of games do you enjoy playing, like shooters, adventure, RPG, etc.? He missed the beginning of the stream, so just kind of catch him up on that. And does that differ from your streamed content? So do you enjoy a certain game that you might not stream?
So I play mostly like RPG style games. I play a lot of retro style games. Like one of the big hitters around my stream has actually been The Legend of Dragoon, and the large part of that is because that game is just garnished such like a cult following. Like all the Final Fantasy people know Legend of Dragoon and are clamoring for a remake or a remaster, and it was just a game that I wanted to play. It had nothing to do with that when I first like clicked it onto the screen. But no, I would say that my content doesn't generally differ from what I'm playing in my off time. I mean, I think that there's a few games that are in there. Like, I do actually enjoy Borderlands. I really like Borderlands, but I won't be streaming it for a while because it's like so saturated that everybody's playing it, guys. Everybody's playing it. Everybody's beating it. Everybody's seen it 4 or 5 times. You give that game a while to sit on the shelf and start to build up a following, and then when nobody's streaming it, that's when you go live with it.
Right.
And then but those are but that's a looter shooter. I like looter shooters. It's an RPG with guns. It's not necessarily like a like Call of Duty or PUBG or it's not. There's a difference, guys.
Right.
But yeah, so those are the kind of games that I play, and I think that it's important that I play those kind of games, and like the reason is because, well, like first off, like shooter people, they have a tendency of forgetting what's going on this side of the screen, right? They're like they get focused on what they're doing. They're trying to make good kills. They're trying to do these things, and it's the focus face, guys. They start ignoring chat and they get focus face. And that for me, chat is always the number one thing. I always try my very, very hardest to not lose things in chat. Once in a while it happens, but as far as I'm concerned, they should be getting my 100% attention no matter what I'm doing, which causes me to die a lot in video games. And so
F's in chat.
I really wish. Yeah, yeah, F's in chat. I'm always doing F's in chat because I'm always like, I don't know if you saw the clip from yesterday, but like I just was like talking to the chat, and I ran up this set of stairs and just like totally dropped through the floor. and my face, guys, like I just like stopped and I was like, you know, because like in those Dark Souls-y style games, the one that you guys can actually see me playing there is it's really important that you hold on to your haze or souls or whatever you're collecting as currency, because if you lose them, it's a tremendous loss. And I just like dropped right through the hole there.
Nice. All right, so last call for any chat questions. We have actually a special surprise for us tonight. DeviantLostMind is actually a musician as well. So he's going to be playing a song on guitar, one that he wrote himself. After he's done there, if we have any more questions, we'll ask. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and raid the channel and see him play some... What are we playing?
You know, I think we're gonna do some Code Vein tonight as well.
Code Vein as well. So we will be raiding here shortly. Make sure you stick around and listen to this song, and then we'll be doing a giveaway after. As we wait for him to get started, we'll raid him. We'll do a giveaway while we wait. So what's the name of the song?
Daisies. It's actually the first song I ever wrote.
Eddie.
Sorry, I needed a drink of water.
Nope, you're good. Whenever you're ready to start.
Drink of that water. Yow!
Eddie.
Kind of a tight space, guys. Sorry. And for symphonic, real quick, I play bass, mandolin, guitar, alto saxophone, alto clarinet, and ukulele.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's not all of them super proficiently. Actually, I hear that maybe I'm the best at bass. Apparently I can just go with it, but the difference is that, like, you know, I always feel like I'm just there to play, guys. I'm just a face with a bass, you know what I mean? And when I'm playing guitar, like, I think maybe I get too focused on what I'm actually doing and stuff, so some things get lost there. Whereas with bass, I'm just like kind of like a monkey there to play, you know?
Just feeling the groove.
Yeah.
All right, man, take it away.
All right. Living in a small town where nothing ever happens, head spins round and round. Every day, day to day, everything just stays the same. Just one out of this damn town. Why'd you go and leave me here? All I ever wanted was to be with you. Oh, why'd you go and leave me here? All I ever wanted was to be with you. Oh. Guess I'll have to get used to you being gone. Now I feel oh so much more alone. Stopped caring and forgot all about me. Now I don't quite feel as free. Why'd you go and leave me here? All I ever wanted was to be with you. Oh, why'd you go and leave me here? All I ever wanted was to be with you. Oh. Daisies rained from the sky. Every time I saw you began to cry. Daisies rained from the sky. Every time I saw you began to cry. Don't cry. Cry, don't cry. Cry, don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry.
I feel like we need a clap emote now. Like, that was really good, dude. And you plan on playing another song on stream tonight? Is that correct?
I don't think so, man. I need to rewrite one, but I feel like on my stream, it's coming to be a thing where, like, I think it's, viewers actually want to see me play guitar on stream. So, you know, we had a little test stream on that a while back, and it seems like people like that. So, you know, we'll probably be doing more in the future, but, you know, it's going to be about, like, you know, catching back up and playing a little bit more. It's been a while since I've actually, like, sat down and practiced regularly, but we're getting back into it right as we speak.
Well, that was really good, and chat definitely agrees. So thanks for playing with us tonight. So just to sign off, you know, tell everybody where they can find you, what social media platforms are you a part of, and your streaming schedule once more.
So guys, I'm actually super easy to find. DeviantLostMind, the tag that I'm known by, that's my Twitter, that's my Twitch, that's my YouTube, which is not, there's nothing in there yet. Don't go there, but there will be eventually. That's my Steam, that's my PlayStation 4, that's my Xbox. I even have that on Mixer. So DeviantLostMind is pretty much the place that you can find me, guys. You can hit me up on any one of those platforms. If you hit me up on Steam, we can play games together if we have them in common or anything like that. It's also my Epic game tag. So if you play Dauntless or any of that kind of stuff, I don't have Tinder. I have Snapchat.
Nice ass.
But yeah, so those are all the places that you guys can find me at, and you know, I look forward to catching you guys in my stream. I think that some of you guys know who I am already. I don't think I've seen, maybe Symphonic has been around, maybe. I'm trying to think, but I think you know, it's really easy to find me. I've made everything basically my brand, you know.
And your schedule one more time?
Oh, and so I definitely stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays currently. Those are my days that I'm definitely streaming right now. 7 p.m. most nights. There's one or two that I go live at like 10, like Saturday or Friday night probably now. I'll be going live at like 10 o'clock for the late night viewers. I try to do like a midnight run kind of thing. We have a joke running around stream that we have like Deviants After Dark, because I don't know what it is about chat, but it has a tendency to turn.
It definitely does. It definitely does. The later you watch a stream, the weirder it gets. Especially my streams.
Definitely true.
One final Twitch question. Do you want to form a Journey cover band with me? That comes from VajayJ80 in Twitch chat.
We could definitely work something out. That would be fun. I love Journey.
Favorite Journey song?
Oh God, I don't know. That's
just say "Don't Stop Believing." It's the go-to.
I think there's a lot of good Journey songs.
There really is. Any final?
It's hard to say.
Any final thoughts you have as we wrap this up?
Well, I think I just want to say thank you so much for having me on your stream and allowing your community to get to know us a little better and have my community come over and get to intermingle for a while. It was really great, and I really look forward to working with you in the future. And it's like I said, I can't wait until people start catching on to your stream, man, because you got such good things going on here. And and I feel like more people need to know about it, and we're definitely going to be me and the Little Deviants are going to be a strong supporter of yours because we love your content, man. And we think you're great. So
I greatly appreciate your support, dude, and I greatly appreciate you being on the show. It was absolutely my pleasure tonight. Thank you so much for joining.
I hope I lived up to the hype.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll see you in just a few minutes.